Behind me is the all-new 2021 GMC Yukon, and for years, it has been the default choice of the low-key one percenter. Because, you see, the person who buys a big SUV like this one is someone who wants a luxury car but doesn't want to be seen as someone who, you know, drives a fancy luxury car. It's for the executive who wears a sweater instead of a suit, but it's a $1,200 sweater. Not this sweater. Now, admittedly, that may seem like a bit of a niche market, but GMC has that market cornered. In 2019, it sold more than 75,000 Yukons. That's more than 3 times as many GLS classes that Mercedes sold. Considering this car is built on the same underpinnings as the higher volume Chevy Tahoe and Chevy Suburban and the higher margin Cadillac Escalade, the Yukon has sort of always been just the cherry on top compared to those core products. But 75,000 is a whole lot of cherries. If you're new to CarGurus, be sure to hit that subscribe button and then hit the bell. That way you get a notification every time we upload a new video. Because it's based on the same platform as the Tahoe and the Escalade, the Yukon's size shouldn't come as a surprise. Yet every time I see one, I'm amazed at just how big it is. GMC continues with body-on-frame architecture for the 2021 Yukon. It's a rear-wheel drive platform available with real 4-wheel drive, so you'll spend most of your time driving around in 2 high, but there's also 4 high and 4 low when you need them. These wheels are 22s. They're massive. The midnight blue metallic paint has a lot of flake in it, and when it's clean, it really shines. Back here, our Denali trim test car gets 2 sets of dual polished exhausts, and at the front, triple stacked LED headlights, LED running lamps, and LED fogs. Oh, and the grille. Did you guys see the grille? I know it can be hard to miss it. It might not have a Cadillac badge, but the Yukon Denali looks premium. This dark walnut leather interior does look nice, although it has a little more grain than I typically like. The wood accents give this Yukon a bit of a rustic cabin in the woods feel. A very expensive cabin in the woods. I also just love this metal accent piece. It's lightly textured and looks spectacular. In fact, it's so good that I'm annoyed that it doesn't match the chrome surrounds for the touchscreen or the trim inlays on the doors. These look too flashy compared to the rest of this Yukon's interior design. Now, one feature that I'm honestly not sure how I feel about is right here, the transmission shifter. Tell us what you think. I generally prefer a lever, but levers would take up this nice real estate. Now, speaking of real estate, check out this party trick. It gives the rear passengers better cup holder access, and it opens up more flexible front seat storage, which is great if you need a place for your bag or purse. Plus, it reveals a little hidden drawer compartment. The primary beneficiaries of this panoramic sunroof are the ones sitting in the second row. This lets in a ton of light. And there's lots of legroom back here too. Plus, I can slide the seats forward or back. Now, the best part about the new Yukon is that the third row is legitimately livable for full-size adults. The plastic wheel arches have a nice soft pad at the elbow point, and the roof is smartly scalloped to give you a little extra headroom. In all, this is just such a huge, huge improvement over the last generation Yukon. When you fold down the second row, the seats drop an inch or two to give you a flat loading floor. Cargo space is adequate behind the third row, and it is absolutely cavernous with the second and third row folded. Plus, watch how fast we can lower this third row of seats. The GMC Yukon is ready for folks in a hurry. There's a 10-speed automatic transmission managing your choice of a few different engines. The standard Yukon fare is a 5.3-liter V8 engine that has been significantly improved for 2021. Maximum towing is now 7,900 pounds or 8,400 pounds with the max towing package. And that's with two-wheel drive. If you want four-wheel drive, subtract 200 pounds from both of those numbers. We have a Yukon Denali, which means we get the 6.2 liter V8. This engine isn't available in non-Denali trims, just like the 5.3 isn't available in this one. 420 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque is a lot, but weirdly, it's not rated as high as the 5.3 is when it comes to towing and hauling. And that means that the 6.2 liter V8 is really just a vanity project, but I mean, at least it sounds good. There's a diesel engine coming too. The 3 liter straight 6 turbo diesel is likely here to fix the Yukon's biggest downside, fuel economy. With a 5.3 liter V8, the Yukon should get 16 mpg city, 20 highway, 18 combined. Now the diesel engine should deliver 21, 27, 23, but our four-wheel drive Denali only gets 14 mpg in the city, 19 on the highway, 16 combined. That's gross. GM switched this platform over to an independent rear suspension, and not a moment too soon. The new architecture provides valuable extra cargo space and more legroom for the third row, but it also improves the Yukon's handling. With magnetic ride control and an optional air suspension, it soaks up road imperfections. Although it would ride even better with 20-inch wheels, you can't deny that the 22s definitely make an impression. Body roll is obvious, even if this car doesn't feel too lumbering at low speeds. Where the Yukon really shines, though, is on the highway. Back when I was in school, my dad bought a 1999 Chevy Suburban online, and before sites like CarGurus existed that made buying cars online easy. So you see, the problem was that the Suburban was in Missouri and we were in New York. So we flew out and we planned to drive back over a few days, but in the Suburban, or as we called it, in the Beast, the cruise control pinned at 70 miles per hour, cruising on the highway. I mean, we did it all in one day. We flew through St. Louis, Indianapolis, Columbus, Cleveland, all the way back to our tiny little town in western New York, over 1,000 miles in about 15 hours. And that's the kind of driving that you can do in a car like this, in a car like the Yukon. Now, the only difference, of course, was that was a 1999 Suburban. I have a head-up display. I have adaptive cruise control. You know, I have a 6.2 liter V8 with 420 horsepower. Can you imagine how much better that drive would be in this car? It'd be infinitely better. I'll tell you what we didn't have in the Beast: a 10.2-inch touchscreen. Now, I complained in the GMC Canyon video that General Motors' infotainment needed a redesign, but I'll admit it doesn't look so outdated on this big high-res screen. Plus, the pairing of wireless phone charging and wireless Android Auto, that is the life-changing combo meal you didn't know you need. Set your phone up for wireless projection, plop it down on the charging pad, and never look back. You can press this dedicated home button to return to GM software, or hold the home button to return to Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. The only trouble is that my phone doesn't actually have wireless charging, so eventually my battery will die. The Bose 14-speaker stereo offers an uncharacteristic amount of bass. It'll legitimately shake the mirrors if you turn it up and pick the right song. In the back, we have 2 HDMI ports and 2 USB-C ports for the second row, and rear seat entertainment screens. Those screens are optional as part of the Denali Ultimate package. Now, that package is expensive, but it also includes a lot of content, and plus, it'll keep the kids entertained. The 2021 Yukon managed 4 out of 5 stars in the NHTSA's overall crash testing. Considering the Ford Expedition scores 5 out of 5 stars and the Yukon was redesigned for 2021, that 4 out of 5 is disappointing to me. Now, luckily, GMC works to offset that score by offering a lot of standard safety tech to help prevent crashes from happening in the first place. Some of the standard equipment include automatic emergency braking, forward collision alert, park assist, and a following distance indicator. Buy a trim higher up the ladder than the base SLE, and you also get lane keeping assist, lane departure warning, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, and a surround view camera. The Denali gives you the option of a rear camera mirror, adaptive cruise control, and a washer for that rear camera mirror. And of course, this is pretty much the closest you'll get to driving a tank, so you'll definitely feel safe. This is a lot of metal, so don't be surprised to hear that the GMC Yukon starts at more than $50,000. And if you want a Denali with four-wheel drive, well, the starting price on that is $72,695. If you'd like something that can go off-road more than living that glamorous highway life, GMC will now sell you a new AT4 trim for $66,095. Add a few grand more to every trim if you want an XL-sized Yukon, and then add an additional $1,695 for destination, because this is a big vehicle and you can't fit nearly as many Yukons on a transporter as you can Chevy Bolts. If you are going to buy a Denali, be ready to pay for the $11,255 Denali Ultimate Package. And now, normally I flinch when I see option packages priced in the five-figure range, but in this case, there is a lot of content packaged in at that price. The rear seat media screens, the power side steps, the sunroof, the big wheels, adaptive cruise control. Yes, technically you can buy a 2021 GMC Yukon Denali for less than 75 grand. But if you want a real Denali, expect to pay more than that, because all the really nice things on this truck, they add up. But importantly, they all add up into a really impressive full-size SUV. Thanks for watching. Chris Wardlaw wrote a full review of the GMC Yukon over at CarGurus.com, so head over there to read his take. We look forward to hearing from you in the comments. Please don't forget to subscribe to the CarGurus YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time.